everyone is getting with people based off of their gender, and they assume because someone is a certain gender that they're gonna fulfill a certain role.
I have this eternal struggle where it's like, I want my husband to be the provider, make all the money, pay all the bills, do the adulting things.
Gender roles might be the stupidest fucking thing on the planet.
Women need to act like this, men need to act like this. I feel like they deserve each other. Y'all are just really upholding patriarchy, and I
Fix everything around the house, take care of my car, take the trash out.
Okay, listen, I know we hate gender roles. I know we hate gender roles, okay?
rules that they didn't even make up that are so outdated.
You know, they love to talk about gender roles and women and what they're supposed to be doing in society and all these things. But gentlemen, do you realize how much gender roles hurt you too?
Make all the plans, handle our finances. So basically do everything while I just lie around and like only do things when I feel like doing them. But like, I'm not talking about traditional gender roles because I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, I'm not doing his laundry. I also don't like to be told what to do. I can make my own decisions and I like making my own money. Can somebody help?
All right, bitches, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about gender roles, and more specifically, I want to make the argument to you guys why it is important to embrace your gender role. If you want to live the happiest life possible, you should embrace your gender roles. And let me get into it. Let me explain why. Real quick, guys, my channel only has 4 subscribers at the time of recording, and my videos are getting almost 0 views. So please consider subscribing, because this channel is going to be bigger in the future, and you're not going to want to miss the historic rise of this channel. All right, so I'm going to make the assumption that you know what gender roles are, because it's talked about all the time in the news. And first thing we need to understand is that gender roles are not fully cultural or socially constructed or made up. There is a biological basis of gender roles. I talked about this in my first video, why men and women are different. But here's the thing. Men have way more testosterone, like 7 to 10 times more testosterone. Women have way more estrogen. Men have way more vasopressin. Women have way more progesterone. And these are hormones that are constantly circulating throughout our body, which are used to do things to differentiate men and women. And here's what you got to know about testosterone and estrogen. They interact with the dopamine pathway, they change your behavior, and they make you do things differently than if you had lower or higher testosterone or lower and higher estrogen. And that's because these hormones are responsible for a lot of different things in the body. To boil it down, men and women have varying levels of testosterone and estrogen because nature designed us using evolution in a way where we as men and women have different roles and different specializations to complete different tasks to keep us alive and reproducing. And the way that nature does this is through hormones like testosterone and estrogen. These hormones influence our dopamine pathways. They influence what we find rewarding, what we find fulfilling, what makes us happy, because that pushes us down a path that allows us to fulfill our role. Think about this. Let's say you are in danger. You are threatened for your survival, and someone's chasing you with a knife or something crazy. I'm pretty damn sure you're not going to be experiencing the most positive emotions, and you're going to be fearing for your life. There's a reason for this. The reason is that these emotions are trying to tell you to do something, to get out of that situation, to keep you alive. And another example would be something like reproduction. When you're about to fuck, you're in a great fucking mood because your body is trying to reward you and telling you, yeah, fuck that bitch. You're going to have kids, and then our genes are going to be able to reproduce. So there is a reason for these emotions. They're not just random. They are designed to get you to survive and reproduce. Now that we know that emotions are just a biological mechanism to keep you alive and reproducing, and we also know that hormones like testosterone and estrogen influence our emotions through dopamine and serotonin signaling, we can come to the conclusion that if you want to be happy, you have to be aligning yourself with your biological instincts. Emotions are just there to push you and guide you to achieve your biological imperative and your evolutionary role. If you as a man are failing, you're not making much money, you don't have a good career, you're not going to be happy because those are things that you need to achieve your biological imperative. And that goes for women too. If you're a woman and you don't have a good partner, you can't get a relationship with the guy you want, you aren't able to have kids even if you want them, I'm sure that they're also not going to be very happy because they're not achieving their biological imperative. And I'm sure you've noticed this in your own life. If you look around at different people and you try to pick out who are the most unhappy people in society, who are the most mentally unstable and easily affected people, it's always people that aren't fulfilling their biological role. I think if you look around at the people that you see a lot, the most unhappy men are the men that are acting like women and the women that are acting like men. As an individual, you need to acknowledge that yes, you do have free will. You don't need to follow your gender role. You can do whatever you want. You can identify as a fucking seahorse. But if you want to be as happy as possible, not even just as happy, but experience positive emotions, you want to avoid negative emotions like regret and sadness and depression, then you should embrace your gender role, because we are physically constrained by our biology. We have to do the things our body tells us if we want to be happy, because we are imprisoned by our own body. That's just how it is. That's reality. And if you do choose to deny your gender role, maybe you want to be a feminine man who doesn't care about making a lot of money or getting in shape, or if you want to be a masculine woman, you want to be a high earner, excel in your career, don't care about children, you can do that, but your body is going to be constantly feeding you negative emotions because it's trying to push you towards your biological role. And if you want to be a masculine woman, that's okay. You can do that, but just know that your body is going to be constantly feeding you with negative emotions because it's trying to guide your behavior towards reaching your biological imperative and embracing your gender role. So that's why I argue, if you want to have a content, fulfilling life filled with positive emotions, you need to embrace your gender role because your body is forcing you to. You have no other option. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video changed your mind or made you think in another way. I appreciate you for watching until the end, and peace out.